Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders Yugioh channel today. Back again with the third video in my Zane Truesdale character deck series. And in today's video, we're going to be taking this deck through a couple of test hands. As you know, this is a 40 card complete Cyber Dragon deck. And I kind of want to show you guys a little bit about how it works. Excuse me, guys. Basically, the idea behind this deck is it is very much a character deck with a, semi-capped power level. But, this is why you're here, is because, you're not really looking to win this deck with locals, but it's a great option for playing like tons of duels as whichever character of Zane that you feel like you want to build. So guys, let's get into the test hand video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to leave my extra deck off to the side here. This is not any like set combos or anything like that, but we're just going to shuffle things up and we're going to see what happens and kind of roll with the punches here. I'm planning to only do like a couple of hands and a couple of playthroughs and things like that. Do note these decks become more fun in formats where you don't have things like impermanence or hand traps to stop you. It's made in, kind of with that GX flavor in mind. However, it is able to compete against those decks, but it's hand traps are widely run in competitive formats for a reason, because they just stop different cards. So just with that out of the way, just to because there always is somebody in the comments who always talks about like competition and oh, the decks get stopped by hand traps. Well, everything pretty much does. But guys, we're gonna throw down a couple of test hands here and see what happens. So we're first gonna cut this deck right here. Oh, shuffle it again. We'll cut the deck, and we're gonna draw a test hand of we like to go second in this deck, and so we'll always assume that we're gonna be going second, because that's just the way things are. So first and foremost, it's a very good hand right here, because we have a lot of different options. Whether you're going first, whether you're going second, we already have plays here. Since we're going second, I'm going to draw one card. Excellent, 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 excellent. So we already have a number of different kind of play structures we can go here, depending on how our opponent decides that they're going to play. So first and foremost, I want to point out and just kind of organize things. So non-combo starters, for instance, are your Cyber Phoenix and your different dimension capsule. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, this is Zane-centric. So if you wanted to throw in like a couple of imperms and some other stuff to replace these guys with, like, totally up to you. Like, this is this deck is very much meant to be kind of like a base format of what you're doing. But your options right here are, we have your core and your machine dupe, or we have a Noxter play on board without even doing a normal summon. So let's assume we're going to start doing our core play. Now, the very important thing that I want to note with machine dupe is that the great thing about it, and the reason why it's so cool to have a monster like core in the deck that and Noxter, is because they count as Cyber Dragon itself on the field, okay? Which means what can happen is that you have Cyber Dragon monsters. You can special summon the actual real-life Cyber Dragon out of your deck by using machine duplication on a monster that counts as Cyber Dragon. It says special summon 2 more with the same name out of the deck, so that's really, really cool and really important, and I think that's something that we want to keep in mind. However, even if Cyber Dragon core gets negated, you can just special summon 2 more cores, and both those count as Cyber Dragon. But for the sake of this, let's go ahead and special summon 2 Cyber Dragons out. Now, the most important part about Cyber Dragon is the fact that it is it's a really powerful card, and not just because of its attack power. Now, most players would just use the machine dupe play here to like XYZ, but since this is a Zane Truesdale character deck, you want to do some different plays. So you can add like Cyber Emergency or any number of other cards from your deck to your hand, and now you instantly have a play here with your Cyber Dragons here. So some people, there is, to my knowledge, no searchable fusion spell in the deck, but with our hand like this, you can utilize different dimension capsule for exactly the same reason that Zane does, which is activating it to set aside the one and only power bond face down for 2 turns. And this stays on the field. This is why it's kind of worse than different dimension capsule, because even though it banishes a card face down so they don't get to see what it is, different dimension capsule keeps the card face down and it stays on the field. And if it dies, then you don't get the face down card back from your hand to your hand. So it pretty much takes the card out of the game for 2 turns, which, you know, not really all that good. But now that we have this stuff here, you know, one of the important kind of things that you can do is you have a full field of Cyber Dragons here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to activate our Photon Generator unit. Now, why can we activate this? When we have 2 Cyber Dragon monsters on our side of the field, we can play this card. And we can send our core and one of our Cyber Dragons away to special summon the one and only Cyber Laser Dragon from our deck. Pretty cool, right? So you see, there are lots of, like, basically way back in the day, Zane only ran the 3 Cyber Dragons, and he ran like a bunch of other crap in his deck, but he'd always draw all 3 of the Cyber Dragons, because these are the only card named Cyber Dragon released in Cybernetic Revolution. So rather than running any of the other cards he ran in a character deck, I wanted to run as many things that could count as Cyber Dragon, the monster itself, on the field, in order to kind of be able to activate a card like this. It requires 2 Cyber Dragons on the field. This is a great like OTK enabler as well, but there's a reason that we did it this way. And of course, you can play around with these combos. Noxter is labeled to discard a monster from your hand to your graveyard. So you can discard your Cyber Phoenix, special summon Noxter. Noxter's effect now triggers, allowing you to special summon back a monster that has 2100 attack or defense. So you can grab back Cyber Dragon. Then, finally, if you want to do Cyber Emergency, you can grab any light machine type monster that you want from your deck to your hand. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab our Cyber Pharaohs and tribute over our Noxter with Pharaohs. We're then going to activate Cyber Pharaohs' effect, allowing us to fusion summon. And we're going to fusion summon our 2 Cyber Dragons here into Cyber Twin Dragon. And that gives us 28, 28, 24, which is OTK. So you guys kind of see how this works. You know, you're generally using like lesser used monsters that Zane has to affect plays. And we didn't even end up using the power bond. As I said, like fusion summoning is not like one of the main things in the deck, but you know, a lot of the newer cards in here just kind of facilitate you getting to old favorites and old standbys like Cyber Twin Dragon or Cyber End Dragon, different plays like that, you know, and different chump blocker moves and whatnot. So we're going to shuffle things up again, and we're going to try and draw another test hand. Let's see what we get this time. You know, it might not be as good, but... So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is not really a good hand, but luckily, since we go second, and yeah, really not good. And that's okay. You know, occasionally you're going to have hands that are not really that good, but the good thing about Cyber Pharaohs is that he is a 2100 defense point blocker. So what you can do is you can set this guy, and then whether or not you want to set the limiter removal or any of these other guys, you can wait to do that. But, you know, in the hopes that your opponent doesn't kill you that turn, you draw for your next turn, the Cyber Emergency really fixes the hand. So instantly right here, you have a machine duplication play. We have the Photon Generator unit play, but I want to show you something else that's kind of interesting here, guys, and that is this, Born from Draconis. Now, as I mentioned in my profile and in my combo videos, Born from Draconis plus a non-normal summonable or special summonable, specifically by, whatever effect is, light machine type monster, you can do some pretty amazing things. So what I would have done in this moment, if I had wanted to, was I could have set this and then set the Born from Draconis, right? And then wait for this to be destroyed. During the end phase of the turn, I can activate Born from Draconis to banish the Cyber Pharaohs from my graveyard to special summon Cyber Laser Dragon. Now, what Cyber Laser Dragon has that's very different is that Born from Draconis will cause it to gain 500 attack power for every monster you use to banish it. So that becomes its new attack power. It doesn't have 2400 right now. Now, if you remember, Cyber Laser Dragon has a special ability that is basically says, well, I want to like mill, you can destroy a card on the field, a monster on the field with a higher attack power than Cyber Laser Dragon. So the lower the attack power of Cyber Laser Dragon, the more flexible the cards that Cyber Laser Dragon can target and destroy. Okay? And Born from Draconis, by banishing one light machine, will send Cyber Laser Dragon out at only 500 attack power, which means you can pop pretty much anything. However, there's another play with Born from Draconis that I want to show you with this particular hand. So Laser Dragon, Born from Draconis is flexible with Cyber Barrier and Laser Dragon because when you have a lot of cyber monsters in your graveyard, you want to summon Cyber Barrier Dragon as just a giant behemoth tank. But when you don't have a lot of monsters and you only can banish very few, summoning Cyber Laser Dragon as a free chump blocker and destroyer, very, very good plays that you can make with that card. And the extra added benefit is that Photon Generator unit can fetch it from the graveyard, so you do have those plays. But the real play that I wanted to show you is one of my personal favorites in the deck that I discovered while playing it and did not actually build the deck around. And that is utilizing this guy here, Cyber Eltanin. Now, the cool thing about Eltanin, and we're going to pretend that Laser Dragon is still in hand at this moment, and this is our graveyard here. The cool thing about Cyber Dragon Eltanin is his basically, when he's special summoned to the field using his, using the effect or whatever it is, he can send all monsters your opponent controls to the graveyard. No destruction, non-targeting, non-destruction, removal. Very, very good card. It's like, even now in modern era, just send a whole bunch of stuff to the graveyard. But with Born from Draconis, it becomes even better because even though you have one Cyber Pharaohs in your graveyard, what you can do is you can have Born from Draconis set, and when your opponent's assembling their board, you just trigger it at any time, banish this, special Eltanin, get a free board wipe during your opponent's turns. So during your opponent's turn, Black Rose Dragon, Sophia play, whatever the heck you want to call it. So even with bad hands, you do have a lot of flexible options, but that one was a particularly bad hand. And the funny thing, guys, if we had had just one more monster, in the deck, even just one more Cyber Dragon monster, we could have gone for Cyber Eternity Dragon with that hand, which would have pretty much like fixed a lot of our problems. Like Cyber Eternity Dragon, even though he didn't run it, I justify it in here because it's a hand fixer. It's a hand fixer. It allows us to take natural bricks such as Barrier and Laser Dragon and turn them into something if they've actually like bricked our hands. Running cards like that, you're necessarily going to run into problems because they're not as competitive as they could be. So here's another hand that we have. Then again, we have lots of different plays. We can use the Laser Dragon play here, but let's see here. We'll see what our sixth card is. Oh, excellent. So we just drew into the Future Fusion. Now, this is the whole kind of play that I was talking about, where we're going to kind of make this whole thing happen. So one thing that we can do here is we can activate our Future Fusion to start, and that's just going to chill here for a turn. Of course, we can trigger our Different Dimension capsule to ensure that we grab Born from Draconis this time. And we're going to banish that from the game and grab it in 2 turns. For our next move, we're going to activate our Cyber Emergency. And we're going to grab Cyber Dragon Core. Special. Normal Core. Activate Core's effect, which will allow us to grab any number of cards, but this time what we're going to be grabbing now is our Cyber Repair Plant. Just going to pop that over in the graveyard. And here's where the fun starts, because what you can do is you can actually play with Cyber Dragon and Cyber Dragon Core. You can have them swing in, and then you can drop your Photon Generator unit during the battle phase, tribute them both, special your Laser Dragon, swing in again, main phase 2, pop, and now that you've sent Cyber Dragons to your graveyard, we're going to do this, Cyber Repair Plant. And we're going to grab another copy of Cyber Dragon Core. So this is assuming that you're, that somehow every play that you have here kind of survives. Maybe this gets destroyed or whatever ends up happening, but you want to ditch with Future Fusion during your next turn. So this time we're going to send every monster that we can in our deck. Lots of light machines that we have in here are going to go to the graveyard. So we're going to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 light machines to the graveyard by revealing Chimera-Tech Overdragon in our extra deck, who allows us to send basically an unlimited number. So now that we have that done, we still have a couple left in the deck, as you guys can see, and that's going to be for a particular reason. But now our certain effects are going to trigger. Since we already have a core in our hand, what we can do is we can activate our Hers' effect, which allows us to fetch back a Cyber Dragon that we want from our graveyard back to our hand. So I'm going to grab this Noxter back to my hand. So now we have a play structure here that is going to allow us to, have some plays. So, whatever ends up happening, like to your Future Fusion or whatever, note that this is like a very kind of crazy combo here that you can have. And, you should hope that your opponent is going to pop your Future Fusion. But in drawing for turn, you got limiter removal here. And so here goes the play. As I believe, since this is second standby phase, Different Dimension Capsule will allow us to add back the Born from Draconis, and Chimera-Tech Overdragon will come to the field and remove everything else from the field, including itself and the Future Fusion, which, that happens. You're not supposed to... They specifically designed Chimera-Tech so it wouldn't work with Future Fusion, and that's okay. That's okay. But now we have all the pieces that we need here for our combo. So we're going to start things out with Cyber Dragon Core. We're going to add Cyber Emergency. We're going to activate Cyber Emergency and grab, this time, Cyber Barrier Dragon. And for our last move, we're going to set the Born from Draconis and pass turn. And on our opponent's turn, When they activate, we're now going to trigger Born from Draconis, taking our Cyber Dragon core, plus every other light machine type monster in our graveyard, and we're going to banish them from the game. In exchange for not being able to special summon this turn, here's what's going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? 12 monsters banished from the game to special summon Cyber Barrier Dragon to the field in attack mode, who gains 12 times 500. So he's at 6,000 attack. He is unaffected by all card effects except for his own card effect, which will not even do anything to him. And he can negate the first attack that comes his way. So now, this is your OTK play, guys, here. Your 6,000 attack power Cyber Barrier Dragon. Pretty sweet play, you know? And this is one of those really kind of cool avenues for all sorts of different things. And we still have a couple of options in our hand. So, you know, your opponent's not really going to be able to do much with a play like this already on the field. And, you know, unfortunate as it is, that is the case. And so we're going to draw for turn. And, you know, you just pretty much beat down your opponent from there. And the cool kind of thing about this, guys, that I would just want to add here before we move on to the next test hand, guys, is the addition of Overload Fusion, or Cyberload Fusion, my bad, into this deck. Because guess what? Once all your stuff gets banished, you can take it all, Cyber Dragons and everything, throw it back into your deck to special summon a, like, huge attack power Chimera Tech Over Dragon. But because Cyber Barrier Dragon is unaffected by everything, it doesn't go to the graveyard when Chimera Tech hits the field. So this is often an end board that you can have in this deck, guys, is a Chimera Tech Over Dragon and a Cyber Barrier Dragon, which are not monsters that are regularly summoned by most Cyber Dragon players anytime and if ever. Drop the limiter removal on your opponent, and it's pretty much game over from there. So that's one of the third kind of test hands that we have here, and I'm going to just do one more test hand so that you guys can see just a little more. And do note, you know, there are lots of different things you can change. Like there are more competitive styles of build that you can use running Barrier Dragon and Laser Dragon, and the reason I have Future Fusion in here is because I'd love to figure out a better way to dump a boatload of Cyber Dragons to my graveyard so that I can use them for plays like that. You know, even if you told me, you know, you can't activate any of the, you know, cards in your graveyard, you know, that's pretty much fine. I'm gonna grab that out. Completely forgot that was in there. We're gonna do one last test hand here. So here's a pretty cool kind of test hand. Heartbeat's Feather Duster plus the Cyber Dragon Veer and Cyber Dragon Core. So a pretty self-explanatory kind of hand here. You know, you just I could start out with the Cyber Dragon or not, but most normally might go something like this: Harpy's Feather Duster to pop the back row or to bait out negation, Cyber Dragon Core, Special Veer, which I'm pretty sure can only be done once per turn. Have that, and then you can search for a card. So we are going to grab Cyber Emergency, and we'll utilize Cyber Emergency, and we'll have it grab a Cyber Pharaohs. So you guys see, searchable ways to grab your fusion monsters and plays. Next play we're going to do, discard 1 to special, activate effect to special summon a 2100 attack or defense monster back to the field. Now we have that on board. And then, finally, what we can do is we contribute any of these 4 to bring out Cyber Pharaohs. So we're going to tribute our Noxer, special summon our Cyber Pharaohs, and we have an Eternity play here if we would like one. And we have a Cyber Twin Dragon, Cyber End Dragon, Chimera Tech Over Dragon, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon at 4K attack. You know, there are a variety of play structures that we have here that we can make from this, you know, this set of plays. 4 monsters and a searchable way to fusion summon them. You know, you pretty much have your entire extra deck ready to be utilized here, guys. So, you know, really, really great to have that, especially because of how flexible a test hand like that can be. And all you got to do is just find a way to get, for instance, the Cyber Pharaohs on the board, and you pretty much have the game from there. So, on to the next hand. And then, you know, since that was a kind of quick hand, we'll just do one more, and then we'll close the video out. All right, so now here's one final test hand, guys. You can pretty much see where this is going to go. Cyber Repair Plant, Cyber Emergency, Cyber Dragon Hers. Cool play that I kind of like is you can utilize your Cyber Dragon Hers, because you're not using his effect to make him level 5. But if you grab Pharaohs or you grab one of your other monsters, you know, play extenders or whatnot in this deck, you can tribute over the Hers, special Pharaohs. Hers' effect will then proc, allowing you to grab Cyber Dragon from your deck to your hand, which then opens up a lot more plays, as you guys can see. You know, a Cyber Dragon Eternity play, for instance, right? So that's one really cool kind of play style that you can add. But if you're willing to wait a couple of turns, guys, here's one thing that I really like. Okay. So instead of Hers, or instead of Pharaohs, we're going to grab Core. And we're not going to normal summon the Hers quite yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to normal summon Core. And this time we're going to grab Cybernetic Fusion Support. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this card much, but Zane ran this in the graduation duel against Jaden. And I think he ran it a couple of other times. Pay half your life points, and any time you fusion summon, you can fusion summon utilizing cards in your hand, deck, and graveyard. What a lot of people don't realize is Cyberload Fusion counts as a fusion material card, which means if you're going for an OTK with a hand like this, right, guys? Guess what? You can activate Cybernetic Fusion Support, and rather than having a fuse from the field or your banish zone, Cyberload Fusion can just act as a normal polymerization, allowing you to fuse from your hand, field, and grave. So this Cyber Dragon was not in here at the time, but this allows you to pay, you know, half or whatever it is to special summon your Cyber Eternity Dragon. Or if you want, guys, you know, and you're feeling a little bit, you know, crazy, you could go for something like your Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon and mill some more Cyber Dragons to your graveyard and get more effects off. It really, really is up to you guys. But, you know, by doing that, your Cybernetic Fusion Support play, even though you spend like half your life points to do it, and you send your Cyberload Fusion to your graveyard, you then turn your Cyber Repair Plant online. You can pop a couple cards your opponent controls, and you can get the search off of Hers for the Cyber Dragon we put back on top of the deck to start with. So guys, that is going to kind of conclude our test hand showcase here. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to rate, comment, subscribe to the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. Thanks for watching all the rest of the videos, and look forward to talking to you guys again soon. All right, guys, this has been the Mermail Master, signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.